So there is actually a hot take on my part. There was when I was a AOE denier, one of the trolls myself. I used to think that you guys are delusional conspiracy theory fans that don't really appreciate the work that Isayama or Yams has done on Attack on Titan, Shingeki no Kyojin. And that's why you're trying to change the ending. I had no freaking idea what I was talking about. I was in the anime communities for such a long time that I failed to notice that it was a bunch of trolls doing the trolling. And this is my confession as a fellow AOE Hope Chat, or better said, Copium users, heavy Copium users, that was once a hater, or let's say a troll, a denier. It hasn't been more than like 20 days since I actually realized on the behest of my fans over on my Farsi channel, that is my main channel. This is the foreign branch, the global branch, let's say, that I just started working on with more emphasis than before. They held me under a lot of pressure to actually read and try to figure out what AOE is. And here's the thing, if it wasn't for my fans, I would never have actually realized and read AOE, at least now. I would probably wait a little long. Because from the outside, when you look at AOE and ANR, anything related to that, I'm gonna talk about ANR too. Every time I heard ANR, I used to think about the manga that they are making, and I haven't really heard good things about that. I read it myself and it was actually pretty okay. Much better than what I thought. So the first thing is, there are a bunch of memes. The whole internet is saturated with memes that debunk, or let's say troll, AOE. And that's what makes it more difficult by people on the outside looking inside, trying to figure out what's happening, and many people just are driven away because of the memes and all the shit around it. And the very first point that anyone makes to dissuade you from reading AOE or ANR or anything is that, hey, it's just a bunch of delusional people who are trying to change the ending. So basically, the deniers have no idea, myself included from before, that this is not a change of the ending, and the manga ending is actually widely accepted in the community. But what they are doing, what we are doing here, is saying that, hey, based on this and these evidences that are, many of them are hard evidences, very hard to ignore and debunk. Isayama wanted to do a 3-timeline story, something close to Mavlov that he actually loves, and he has said that he has been inspired by that. And the manga, the ending of the manga, is actually part of the story. This is the very first thing that people don't understand when talking about AOE. I know that from experience. The other thing that dissuades people I've seen, it's people, the deniers, the trolls, using some of the evidences, some of the dual meaning evidences, some of the interpretations to debunk the whole thing. So they use details to debunk a much larger idea and theory. The problem actually comes from within the AOE community. I've said that a bunch of times to my audience over at WeabooHead, my main channel, that hey, in the streams mostly, hey, and do know that it took me 4 streams, 4 hours each, talking about AOE and reading the theories and everything to actually realize what was going on, to actually be more convinced. So there is this issue that many people in the community, in the AOE community, they use some dual meaning lines, music, anything, and symbolism, and they try to actually make their point using those dual meaning parts. It's actually okay, it's actually very nice, but coming from the outside, and looking from the outside, it makes us look like delusional people. The emphasis must be on the parts that can't be denied. The first chapter, the cross on the tree, the differences in the manga and the anime, and actually the numbers used, and because Oda does that too. I haven't seen that a lot. Not many people talk about that in the AOE community, as I have seen. I'm a newbie here, I'm a noob, let's say. So I might have missed it, but come on. If you are gonna do something like that, if you're gonna convince people, use Oda. You don't really see people shitting on Oda for his foreshadowing stuff. Why? Because there have been YouTubers, big YouTubers, huge YouTubers talking about that. Be it Ohara, be it Yuderon, that is the main source of the theories. And most of them have been proven, the ones with the numbers and stuff, foreshadowing using the covers and volumes and shit like that. They even guessed some of the main ports in Wano using the stuff from before. Like Yuderon, I think, said that it's gonna be between chapter this and that, something big is gonna happen, and he actually said what this something big was going to be. We have the same thing here, but we haven't been really smart about how to present it to the people. You might have the best product ever, but if you don't know how to market it, it just fucks up, it doesn't work. This is the issue here. Try to make emphasis try to zoom in on the things that can't be debunked, on the things that can't be explained. The ending, Berserk Eren, the opening scenes, how the anime begins and the differences with the manga. Some of the panels that they are pretty important. But if you go into the interpretation part that is necessary for the theory, I'm sure it is necessary, and you try to convince people with that part, they are gonna shit on you. That's going to happen because of so much hate and so much trolling on the AOE community. And the first point we should be talking about is how the ending is not actually going to become a good ending on any part. There is no good ending in Attack on Titan. It can't actually happen. We know that from miles ago, from years ago. It can't just happen. Even if you have the full rumbling, it's not a good ending. Even if Eren survives, it's not a good ending. He's gonna have the way of massacring the whole world on his shoulders. It's not even better than the, let's say, less sad than the manga ending. So here's the thing. We should be smart about how we are doing this stuff. We should choose what we present to the outsiders, let's say. There shouldn't be no outsiders and insiders, but I'm just talking about experience myself. We shouldn't be very persistent. We shouldn't really try to talk to the trolls. It doesn't work. I have seen people trying to do that. We shouldn't just point to single evidences like Isayama said our battle is only getting started. I mean, come on. Anyone can choose a different interpretation of what he said. They could be like, hey, he means that the anime is going to be animated and that's why the battle is just getting started. So no, that's not very smart. That's not very smart. But you can actually talk about the whole theory. You can talk about how they changed the opening sequences. Many people will be like, yeah, that's an artistic choice, but you can also show other stuff and it just works. It works better than just zooming on stuff that can be debunked easily and fairly fast, to say the least. So here's everything I had to add on this topic. I don't know when this video will get released, but I do have another thing to talk about, and that's the opening song under the tree. Probably you are gonna see that before this one. Have a great day, and as we say in Farsi, shab bakhair. Good night.